Hello and welcome back to F1 Manager 2024 here in August 2027, where we're on the eve of the Baku, Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We'll simulate that, we'll simulate Singapore, and then we'll do just a normal race at Austin, Texas. This is the only race we'll do live actually in the United States out of the three. We simulated Miami earlier in the year, and we will be simulating Las Vegas when it pops up later on, because we do have, in theory, a sprint at Bahrain afterwards. If we don't, then we'll just do Saudi Arabia. Nonetheless, 3 races today because Mexico will be simulated, and then we'll play the sprint, of course, at Brazil in the next one. The brand new summer signings thing that pops in over the summer window and all that jazz, where it outlines all the changes. I mean, you can read it as well as I can right there. So far, no news coming out of the paddock about F1 driver moves, apart from Hamilton retiring, which means there definitely is a driver move. Meanwhile, Haas have signed a technical chief. Pat Fry's off to Audi. Good for Pat. Alright, good engines in. Let's simulate qualifying and then the race. Liam Lawson had an off in the old practice session, so I wonder if he's damaged his car. Charles Leclerc's got a penalty which carried over from Monza, which takes him to 9th on the starting grid. Lando 4th, Zane 7th. Not as bad as... Teo Porchet has pole, sorry. That's just distracted me. Wow, actually wild. 6 different teams in the top 6. Love it. And the only duplicates, weirdly, are ourselves in 7th and RB in 8th and 10th, and then Charles Leclerc and the other Haas. Oh, I suppose actually he would have qualified 4th. So actually Haas were 1st and 4th. Why in God's name would I do medium to hard when soft to medium is possible? Oh, actually, because it's not actually any slower. Why is 2-stop faster? We'll do 2-stop. It might end up kicking me in the back. I don't know, really. Well, it sounds positive. Just said podium, though. It is a dual podium with Charles Leclerc from 9th. Porsche has an absolute catastrophe in the end. Ends up actually on the back of Zane. He passed him on the last lap by the looks of things. Antonelli has a good race from 11th, gets to 6th. Joins Carlos in 5th and 6th. Piastri has a bad race as well. Charles Leclerc wins a race. That's fun. Lando usurps Carlos Sainz in the championship. We now sandwich the Red Bulls in a double stack. And we are 1 point behind them in the constructors. So even though that wasn't a great track for us, we still ended up 2nd and 3rd. Or Williams, they still don't actually have a point. Good pit stops across the board, actually. Did utilise the 2-stop, so it does actually do what he tells you to do. We've got for the money for now. I've never actually bothered to put any of the missing prize money in for the year, apart from the first 3 months. I put the first 3 months in, and I haven't done any of the previous 6, because we are still kind of getting the benefit out of the race day, which admittedly have changed those objectives, but we are still beating them every single race, pretty much. I'm just weighing this up because it's 125 days. Realistically, you want to do the upgrade in the off-season, but that's 4 months. To go from what is a maximum of 12% to a maximum of 18%. Nothing else is dipped under, everything else is now refurbished. Now, see, the interesting thing is, I don't know whether to go for the objectives on this one. Because Azerbaijan, I thought our performance ranking was slightly off because of our DRS. Singapore doesn't have that swing. We are just not good at the things that Singapore is good at, you need for Singapore. I don't know if I should go for the high one. Slightly more promising practice than I was anticipating, but you always flatter to deceive there. So I'm not quite sure how this one's going to go, considering where we're predicted to be. 7th is definitely better than I was anticipating. Haas is being up there, I'm not surprised by, because they were up there in the practice with us. So 12th for Zane isn't great, but obviously he's the lesser of the 2 drivers. Not by much, but he is. And he did a better time than... Oh, no. I was about to say he did a better time than Albon did in Q3, but Verstappen did, though. So a bit harsh maybe that he wasn't in the top 10. Both Astons there this time. It's a right old merry-go-round in the order this year, isn't it? Singapore's a 1-stop, isn't it? I mean, I know you can do this. I know, because you've used all your softs. Yeah, no. So interestingly for Zane, it is exactly the same. Weirdly, that's faster than that. Okay, so that's faster still, so we'll do that. They always change the driving options. I don't know if it actually matters when you simulate them, because I presume as soon as you click simulate, it just reverts it to whatever your strategy is. Doesn't sound podium. Yeah, you went up, at least, and Zane only went up 4 places. So that's even better. He was a lap down, though. Yeah, not our track. Oscar has a nightmare. He's 2 laps down. Djokovic and Russell binned it at some point, or broke down. Top 4 remained the exact same order, so that's fun, I guess. Lawson actually gets a point from 13th and goes past his teammate in the end. Right, this is a weird race, isn't it? Hamilton gets points, though. Lando takes over the top of the drivers because Piastri didn't score a single point, and Lando got exactly 8, which takes him 1 point in the lead. Carlos Sainz gets 12 points. He's on 253. There's 4 points separating the top 3. This is a fight. Antonelli gets 25. He's on 209. That takes him away from Maloney again. But Lewis Hamilton's 2 points doesn't actually move him anywhere. He's still 16th because Albon got 6 and went ahead of him. 12 points means we do lose touch with Red Bull this time, but we're still gaining on McLaren. 2-horse race. Lower target for Lando was the right play, but I could have done 7th rather than 9th. I could have got another... I suppose it's not that much. It's not a huge difference. Another about 100 grand. He wouldn't have got the 5th objective, which was still the highest option. So I was right to avoid the 5th. It was 5th, 7th and 9th. He could have got the 7th. As research comes in over the weekend, a lot of it. Do make the sponsorship, which is money. Financial season... Am I just going crazy, or is this actually just suggesting we bring the season price share further away from... I'm trying to remember. We had a financial shift that actually moved things... I can't remember which way it went. Did it move it further away? Like made it more at the top and less at the bottom already? I mean, I'm voting against it, obviously, because I want to maintain the ones at the back having more... Actually, it doesn't matter, does it? Because they don't use their money in the same way. It only affects me. Please tell me Daniel's still available. He is. Although, I'm going to have to actually utilise Zane here, I think. States next, but we do have an ATR period. How many races would we actually get a piece on? There's a big 4-week gap. Mexico, which is a bit weird. So I think we can get 2 of the kind of 29 days in there, which would be, I think, 22 days with the engineers on. And we'll have enough time to develop them for the remaining, what would it be, 6 races? Yeah, if Bahrain works. There's enough races for it to be worthwhile. And because we did a lot of research in the previous one, we might be okay there. Because I think, looking at what bits do what thing, dirty air tolerance is mostly in front wing and underfloor. We've already done a new front wing already, and it doesn't really do a lot of stuff. So I'm wondering if the underfloor has better expertise gains in it. I mean, it already looks like it's pretty strong. Because the dirty air tolerance comes from this, I think. All right, so I'm doing my best with that. Take a slight hit in high speed, but we can take that. And yeah, the only thing is, like, the rest of dirty air tolerance comes from front and rear wing, which you never really specialise in those things. So I can't really do another front wing, which is a bit annoying, so I can't really help that front. I'm thinking side pods for engine cooling, because nothing does acceleration. There's a non-negligible effect on medium speed either here, which I think is the one thing we do need to improve as well. I think side pods is the shout. Maximise engine cooling. That's the best we can do with that, in that sense. But I'm not too bothered by adding any more top speed. Whether this gives us even more high speed. At the very least, I'm building a lot of expertise in side pods at this point. Oh, sure, of course. Well, I have to acknowledge it. I can't even deny it. It's just literally just burning down again, as always. We'll get away with it. Okay, so the sensible voting from earlier in the season hasn't really carried over here because McLaren and Haas and Ferrari probably should have voted for this, and teams like Alpine, Mercedes and RB should have voted against it. So the right outcomes happened, but the wrong teams involved. The result is that the prize share is still more even. I think we can definitely win this one. So after a pair of sprint races in the live race, we're back to normal procedures here at COTA. Just regular qualifying and a light rain race at America. I did slightly forget about the light rain race part of that when I was giving back tyres, because they actually used 2 mediums rather than a hard. Q1, no fuss. Both Ferraris out in Q1 though. That's going to be a shock. This feels like another track where everyone's just gone absolutely mad on when they want to do their flying lap. I don't know what's going on. No one's going out at the same time as anyone else. We're the only ones ready to do it, with Piastri just on track ahead of us. So I don't really know what's going on here. Maloney needs to improve though. He got hinted on his original flying lap. I've sent Lando out. I probably didn't need to. I'm kind of hoping I sent him out far enough that he's not going to get in the way, close enough that he might provide a distant tow. I didn't want him right up his backside. So that's probably a little bit too far away from Lando, mate. I don't know if you had to work your way around people in more awkward spots or something on your out lap, but yeah, that's not worked out great. The good news is 5 people have already completed their laps, and one of those is Albon in 10th. Russell in 8th as well is very much in danger spot. Leclerc proves that. 4th for him. Gasly 5th. Russell's immediately already in danger. And there's a purple first sector from Maloney, so if he's going to do that, that's the way to do it. Oh, God. Well, he's caught. Actually, who has he caught? Well, I guess they just finished their lap before it ticked to 0:00. So they're not being shown as having completed their stints here. It's either Djokovic or Bottas, of course. This Red Bull is similarly in the way, I think. I think they're done. I think it's Antonelli, and he's just not getting out of the way. Get out of the way, Kimi! Jesus wept, my friend. Russell's out. I didn't see who actually went ahead of them. Probably Sargent. Norris takes Q2 pole. That wasn't the one that mattered. Thankfully, he didn't get in the way enough. Maloney's 4th. So no out. Lost on the bubble if Djokovic is actually on a flying lap. That doesn't feel flying. It was Bottas we got stuck on. Well, this doesn't feel like it's flying lap either. No. They're both McLaren's into Q3 for a change. In fact, was that a 2x2 It went in 2x2, but was that 5 sets of teammates? Both Red Bulls, both McLarens, both Audis, both Haas, both us. Yes, it is 5 sets of teammates. Genuinely a really super clean lap from both drivers there, but Norris behind Maloney somehow. Leclerc goes faster than both. That was used tyres for us. And Antonelli randomly goes about 2 minutes before anyone else. Both Audis go about a minute before you really should do. Leclerc Sainz Piastri are all coming out now, so I'll send the drivers out now. And I'm not sending out Maloney directly behind Norris this time. Sorry, just because they were so far away on track, I had to manually sort that out. I do want to go on board with Norris, though, after he's already done, like, the first corner and all that jazz. But into the S's we go with Lando Norris. You start for both drivers first time round at COTA. That can actually be a big difference because the wear rate is so high. And we're meeting a Red Bull in the worst possible spot on the track. I don't know if he had to slow down just to make sure he didn't drive into him during the S's there. That was Antonelli, of course, because he went 2 minutes before everyone else. So Antonelli's time of 5th place is locked in already. Both Audis, I think, have just finished their laps, and they were both not great. It is a purple first sector for Lando Norris regardless, though. It's not an even green sector for Maloney. I think he did purple originally. I think Leclerc's time all came in the last sector. I think Maloney was still purple first and second. It's a purple second well for Lando this time round, though. So whatever the hold-up was from Antonelli, it seems to be okay. He's still gone purple in both sectors of wherever that hold-up actually was. Leclerc's time's locked in now. He's first across the line to the checkered flag. But Antonelli and 2 Audis are also done. Lando around the final corner. Can he beat Leclerc to it? He didn't improve his time, did Leclerc? That's a huge improvement. 2.5 tenths. Maloney's not improving. Antonelli's coming into the pit. Sainz is taking the checker flag, along with Piastri, that was. Lawson on track behind, Pourchaire on track behind, both on flying laps still, I believe. They came out with Maloney originally, and obviously Maloney separated by going on manual mode. But it's not faster first and second for Maloney. I think if Maloney had an issue, he was in the 3rd sector. Doesn't improve at all. What can Lawson do with a clean lap? Well, that's terrible. What is wrong with you, Liam Lawson, / your car? Pourchaire. Surely there's improvement there, mate. Leclerc's 2 tenths off Lando. Of course, we're now in the period of where different cars have got different ailments, and I think Lawson's is continually struggling, shall we say. So let's see, light rain in Austin for most of the race. What? I'm so glad I kept those bloody hards now. Well, yeah, Austin's tyre wear is awful, so that's the sweet spot. Actually, is that even where the rain comes in? Why are we even on a soft at all? I'll be fascinated to see if people start on intermediates or not. But no, that needs to go on like there, doesn't it? I think we're going to need lap 4 or 5. I think there's just enough racing laps for it to be worthwhile being on a soft tyre to start with.
The anticipation is really building here. The fans in attendance are absolutely buzzing with excitement. The Haas driver with a chance to impress a few people here.
They find themselves starting in P7 and eyeing up a handful of points.
Right, let's get to it then. Here we go. It's the United States Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
When they focused on Charles Leclerc, I got my words muddled there. When they focused on the Haas driver there, I assumed it was going to be Charles Leclerc, not Pourchaire, but nope. Maloney fighting Piastri immediately, but Norris just bolts, which, great. Because you need to put in as much gap between you and your teammate as possible for this rain. So if you could just drive away from the Haas, mate, no qualms, just sod off. I'm afraid I've forgotten to take fuel out of Maloney. Well, never mind. That will only help Lando drive away long term, so... Yeah, Lando's just vanished. He's a second off already, and there will be DRS for like 3 laps. So everyone did start on a soft, by the way. Nobody went... Oh, so Porsche started on a medium. Teo, you're right, mate. If you just not get any vaguely functional softs at all. So they focused on Teo beforehand, and he's in actually the worst position possible out of anyone on this track right now. Not in terms of outright position, but situationally. Still no DRS, but we're pressuring Leclerc, so that's forcing him to be defensive, which is building out a second and a half gap at this stage between him and Maloney. Norris. Him and Norris. Maloney being obviously a smidge further behind. I'll be intrigued to see when we first see the rain here. Because the funny thing is, I actually set the weather centre into the sponsorship deal for this one because I thought, oh, it's a bunch of tracks that are usually quite hot by the time it runs out. It's just going to be COTA in Mexico. That's gone well. Lando now 2.5 seconds ahead of Leclerc, so that's perfect. Maloney DRS's him, so that'll be maybe a bit of a fight. Not really. We've got obviously excellent DRS, so... Why are you, oh my goodnessing? Well, he's clear of Leclerc for the time being. I hope Leclerc can stay with him just to fight him back a little bit, just to help build the gap. So I need to be able to double stack here. Little spits already, lap 3. It did start straight away according to the forecast. So Leclerc does get Maloney back in that first DRS chance, but it is slow going. That's a valid point actually. Where is the intermediate switch of it? Is it actually lap 10? Have I pushed too hard on these? Have I misunderstood? We'll get DRS again though. Yep, nice and easy. Yellow flag somewhere around, but I will get the tyre temps down because we're not getting rain in just yet. I still don't think it's raining hard enough. I think we've got one more lap in us, minimum. So that's Leclerc back past on the main straight again, and actually Antonelli's got him as well this time. Just looking at the tyres from everyone else, everyone else just absolutely blitzing their tyres, so absolutely no reason why we shouldn't as well. So it's gone from about 0.5 to 0.65 on this lap so far. Is that ticking up just enough to be worth of intermediates by the end of this lap? We kind of have the buffer, obviously, so we may not actually need to pit them the same lap. We could always pit Maloney early. Is that just people having incidents, or people have actually just... Yeah, people have had incidents. There was a crash I don't think I actually bothered looking at. Interesting, the Roberts just tipped down. And Antonelli's cut the gap massively. I don't really know what's going on there. Is Antonelli just like really adaptable or something? Antonelli pits this lap. Well, wait, how am I not available for the pit entry? Oh, well, they're both coming in next lap then. Oh, only Antonelli comes in. Piastri doesn't. And then 12th, 13th, 14th do. Yeah, only about 6 people pitted. That one has an issue, but that's entirely irrelevant, really. Piastri gets Maloney this time because he's the only one left in the fight there. 0.75 is kind of the changeover, so 0.75 to 1 is where both tyres are basically the same. So realistically, we won't have lost anything there. Antonelli's going to be stuck on Drogovic, seemingly as well. So both our drivers coming in this lap, there's 4 seconds between them, as Maloney can't keep up with Piastri for whatever reason. So this is going to have to be a good double stack still, but this is definitely the lap to do it. Good, right, 2.2, we'll take that. 2.1 for Maloney, perfect, great, that worked. I was supposed to say we've lost out to Leclerc, but no, it's just because of the pit boxes. We're fine, we've actually jumped Piastri in the pit. Sainz has jumped Piastri in the pit, actually, as well. Antonelli's the question mark. Where is he coming? He pitted too early. Porsche hasn't pitted at all. I just realised he was on a medium, of course. Bottas has an issue. So now we just drive these intermediates as best we can. Now, the only advantage, of course, that Antonelli has, even though he's come out behind Maloney here, is the fact he will have his tyres up to temperature already. But he's having to deal with his teammates, so that's probably giving Zane just some breathing room for the time being. Actually, it might be a sensible idea to deploy on this very next lap with Maloney. Because he survived the DRS zone. But I'm just thinking, we give him everything fighting this lap, because next lap, it might not be DRS. We use every single weapon in our arsenal to keep Sainz and Antonelli behind on this particular lap and pray that the DRS comes off. Porsche tumbles down the order now that he's not. Oh, that's fine, just shove him off. Zane got Verstappen there by Sainz. So now we have to pray that the DRS stays on, which he will do. We're still 0.4 under, and he's actually attacking before the detection point, which is great. So we'll still have DRS this time. That's that done, and now it should turn off, effectively. DRS is off. Bring the tyres down, keep pushing the fuel. There's no point not to at this stage. We'll be able to recover that easily. Sainz will still be able to fight, but he won't have DRS to help. I'll go to -1.5. Track is now dry. Oh, it went down again, slightly. That's a problem. Well, it's actually a problem insofar that Sainz overtook us on the main straight, and we now still have the DRS to overtake him on the back straight. I'm praying that the water goes back up again over 1. I've not really seen much movement on that front. I think from here on in, it ends up just staying above, but once it does go back up, fortunately, it's not gone back up this lap, which means Sainz will get us back again here. This might be the worst case scenario, unless we can fight him off. Oh, we had one more switch around, back and forth. Sainz got us on the long straight, and then we got him on the main straight, and it's just turned off again. It's worked out just bang on there, and that's the last we're going to be pushing that fuel. So Albon's absolutely binned it there. That's a VSC. Turn 19's a strange one, but I suppose it is damp in the dirty air of another car. Just whoop, off he goes. Because you have to go that far to really crash. Like, that's not just going wide, that's absolutely losing it. We'll stick with Maloney on the restart here because he's got ERS back, so I think he might be able to deploy away from Sainz. I'll re-push the fuel as well with him for a bit. Because we've had the VSC, I'm just going to save Norris from saving fuel for about 10 laps. I'm going to wait till, well, we'll do 8 laps because that's nice and easy. Lap 25 is easy to remember. For lap 25, we'll check back in with Norris, see how much fuel he's saved in this damp weather. I say that, someone's binned it straight away. It hasn't triggered any kind of VSC or safety car though. Vesti on 12. Porsche's turn. We stopped 7th though. Cannot break a second with Sainz. I've been deploying for ages and it just won't go. Sainz is a wet weather driver though, isn't he? Norris is about to lap Perez on lap 21. Clearly involved in an earlier incident, but isn't showing damage on the side thing for whatever reason. What is going on with Perez? Can't see anything visually. He's just lapping 6 seconds slower than the front runners. Sainz has finally dropped off, so whatever he was doing, he's finally given up on it. Wait, hang on. What tyres is he on? No, Perez is on intermediate, so I don't know what's going on there then. Oh, Sainz was keeping up because they were destroying their intermediates. Oh, that's why Perez was so slow, because his intermediates are gone, I think. Oh, because we're doing it more... Are they 3-stopping intermediates? That is a surprise. So we're going to drop Sainz now because he hasn't got tyres. So I'm going to bring him back to there. We've actually got 1 lap over, but he's got a whole kilogram back in about 9 laps thereabouts. So I think he's actually fine not to save fuel at any point going forward. Sainz still hasn't pitted for another set of tyres. He's kept them around 40%. It's a weird way to do it though. They're actually up pitting the same time as us. But it's such a weird way to do it. He's now behind his teammate. Leclerc and Piastri pit lap 29. We're pitting lap 30, I think. In fact, I'll pit him different laps. I'll actually pit Maloney this lap because he's about to hit 50%. Or I'll attack this lap, Lando. Cheers, Lando. Good piss off for Zane. Comes back out 4th. Actually, he comes out directly behind Sainz, but that was the lap vehicle he had to deal with. I think it was Vesti. Comes out 5 seconds behind Sainz, who hasn't pitted still. That's such a weird strategy for Sainz. I don't understand it. They went hell for there. They took him down to 45 while we were still on 65. And we pitted first. That makes no sense. I mean, if there's an incident now, actually, it's going to work out really in their favour because we decided to pit early. We didn't need to. We could have just waited for them to pit. That's my bad. Actually thinking about it. Although we have 23 seconds to Antonelli. We might be all right. Yeah, we had the pit stop over Antonelli. We're fine. Sainz pits now. 1 lap later. Same lap as Lando. I'll deploy Maloney this lap because why not? So he's got the ERS in him, so might as well go for it. Antonelli still hasn't pitted himself as well. Is Antonelli just not pitting? Is Antonelli just not pitting just to annoy Zane? Like, just hold him up? He's on 34% tyres. Why would you not change your tyres? Why would you not do something more sensible? These tyres will go to the end on a 4 push. Why have you not changed your tyres the second they got slightly bad? Because he pitted so much later, Sainz has come out behind Leclerc. Or teammates. Leclerc has pitted because he pitted off them earlier. As did Piastri. Okay, well, that was such a dumb move there, Zane. That you didn't really attack him. He just went, I'm looking, and Kimmy, I'm looking. There we go. Well, we're ahead of Antonelli. He hasn't even pitted yet, so... Like, unless there's an absolute disaster, we're 1-2ing this. We're past Antonelli. He needs to pit. In fact, he probably pit now, I think, just because... No, still hasn't pitted. So he pitted 1 lap before us, and now still hasn't pitted off them for a second pair. What are they doing? What are they doing? Just drive away at this point. There he goes. Finally goes. Antonelli finally goes. He comes out 6th, about a mile behind his teammate. Ridiculous decision. Ridiculous decision. Rawson's 14th. They're not getting points. McLaren have a real second driver syndrome at the moment. Yeah, so whatever was up with Perez must have been to do with the tyres because he's actually not really losing time to Vesti. Well, mind you, Vesti's car's broken as well, so I think there is a silent error there. Djokovic's fault. This is like the worst case scenario possible because we don't get to react. Sainz is on 67% tyres again. He pitted after us and now he's pushing them. Who's on the main straight? Is that Hamilton? I can't see in the pit lane from there. Oh, Perez is in the pits. Hang on. Oh, he's not in the pits. I can go 200 metres. I wish I knew what his tyre wear was. Is that an indication everyone's going to pit? Because he's the first one on the scene. I'm going to take the gamble. I think everyone's going to pit onto brand new intermediates. Was it Djokovic's fault that's caused the safety car? I think we're the only ones doing it. Oh, mind you, we're miles ahead of everyone. Oh, of course, everyone's going to be going slower. I forgot about that point. I forgot about the gaps and we had a free pit stop. We had a completely free pit stop. Piastri's come in. Everyone was pitting. We had a completely free pit stop anyway. Oh, thank you, Perez, for being broken or whatever's wrong with you. Giving me an early indication that someone might actually be pitting there and therefore everyone was pitting. The interesting thing now is if it actually goes dry, now it goes wetter. Okay, sure. Well, I didn't really need this safety car. We were well clear. 10 seconds between our drivers and 10 seconds from their point onwards. Cool. It's gone dry as well, briefly. Not worth it. It's not actually dry. Actually, this is really... I mean, if there's going to be a safety car, at least it's gone through the period where there would be DRS available. Like, if it came about 2 laps before the DRS was available, I'd be annoyed. But if we waste the period where DRS is available and then it goes live again with DRS unavailable, like it just has, it's still not coming in, I don't think. Right, lap cars are now overtaking. So Perez has got to do that 3 times. No, that's not how that happens. So presumably we'll go this lap because they don't bother waiting for them to catch up. Yeah, there we are. So fuel's well and truly over. Nothing I can do about this stage. Lando, I just need you to drive away. Did Antonelli not pit for new tyres? Interesting play from Antonelli. Probably the right play, actually, with 84% tyres. Could be interesting with Gasly. I didn't even see what caused the safety car. I think it was Drogovic retiring in a weird place. But we'll watch on board with Maloney as Lando restarts things here. But again, we're kind of in that weird position where I don't want to tell Zane not to fight, but I'm going to. Because I just want him doing some weird lunges and compromising himself more than anything. Just work together, lads. Just work together. How are we doing behind? Oh, it's the first time we really looked at Lando all race. Russell's just had a mechanical fault. Weirdly, that's taken him down the order. This is what I was worried about by telling him not to fight. Maloney should be able to fend him off. They'll give him eventually, the ones behind. I think we can probably fight push these. Okay, so we've separated away from Antonelli now, which means we're not in danger, so we can just go fly in formation. 10 laps to go. That lunge from Antonelli was the only time he actually even got a whiff of a overtake, and now he's been overtaken by Piastri instead. Leclerc and Porsche, 6th and 7th, that's not bad from them. Considering where they were at the start of this race, so that's maybe a bit of a pity for Leclerc specifically. Home race, of course, for the Hasses. If I just bring Maloney's aggression down a notch, that might just give them some breathing room. Cool their engine down as well in the process. We're about to recatch Perez as well. Still a bit close, I think. So Maloney's separated off now, which is good. Everyone is pushing their tyres. So that wasn't going to get more rainy, but it's not going to get dry. 3 laps to go. We'll actually get to finish in the sunshine. It won't be rained on the podium. How's Perez actually finished this race? Yeah, don't need to find clean air either, mate. Yeah, that was actually melting those tyres. I think we'll probably be fine for it. We'll just leave some in the tank in case we feel like we need them in the last 4 laps at all. If Piastri / Antonelli / Sainz or Leclerc even decides to make an absolute go of it at the end here. About to relap Vesti as well. Perez actually got himself totally unlapped before we relapped him, because he managed to unlap himself by virtue of being the first one to reach the safety car, so he passed it as it picked us up, and then he got to unlap himself under the safety car from the very back. So he actually ended up no laps down in the end until we re-caught him a couple of laps ago. Piastri's actually held onto his tyres. Antonelli's destroyed his. He had less to start with, of course. Piastri's staying about 4 seconds behind. I think we're fine. Antonelli does have fastest lap, so last lap incoming here, I'm just going to give them all they can do. The tyres aren't in the perfect condition, obviously, here, but I presume the fastest lap was actually done at the very beginning on the softs, so I don't think we're going to get fastest lap. But on the strange chance that somehow that with less fuel, Antonelli's done a faster lap with intermediate tyres at some point. Like I say, I presume it was done in the dry. I was also slightly concerned by Piastri taking a second out of us. We'll let them use everything on this last lap. Yeah, it's not even a faster first sector, of course, because we had softs on in the beginning. Well, we'll watch Lando come across. Pull that gap out to Piastri just to be safe. All done. That's about 5 seconds. Lando across the line first. Maloney across second. I mean, that's the most 90s youth winning message you'll ever get. Lando shouting cool. Hubert going wicked back at him. Well, that gets a point for Aston. Can't see the podium because Zane's on it. 4 laps again, though. Barring the fastest lap for Kimi Antonelli there. Verstappen up 19 places to 7th. Bottas up 5 to 10th as well. Sargent falls out of the points. He was actually 9th to start with this time. So the top 9 actually get points, and then Bottas. Lando extends his lead as we reclose on Red Bull, who got ahead of us in the Constructors' Championship over the last couple of races. But we reclose on Red Bull to make this definitely a fight for the Constructors as well. Fortunately, I think we've lost the DHL pit stop really there, although it was Red Bull that picked up the most this time round, so there was actually a fight there as well. And it was well worth actually Maloney having that 3rd pit stop, the 2nd set of intermediates, because that got him in there, in that mix as well. Another 500 grand once we paid out our drivers. But a rainy COTA. Another point for Bianca there. God, a long way to go realistically for her. Everything's failed on the car. Good job we've kind of built in advance for this kind of stuff. The best strategy was a 1-stop apparently. It was a 2. It was a 3-stop in the end. Oh, I was thinking actually that last pit stop was actually the one in the strategy for Maloney, but no, it was the one under the safety car. So that's what got him into the DHL pit stop, was the safety car pit stop. Finally, in Red Bull, who were one of our rivals this season, their car has better DRS effectiveness performance than ours. No, it doesn't. Our DRS ours is 9% better. They've actually taken more weight out of their pieces than we do, interestingly. But anyway, Mexico next time around, along with the sprint at Sao Paulo. It's always a fun one at Brazil, and that's why it always remains on the calendar. It's also like a really good spot in the calendar for it there to be a sprint race. I'm always happy to let that be the sprint race there. I think the only person not mostly enthusiastic, actually no, it's Daniel Ricciardo who's been told to do things. So I think, even for a change, Pierre Vacher is enthusiastic. I do need to do contracts with a couple of and I also need to remember to undo the retirement for Carpi and J, who's actually now 75 rated. He could probably get on the F1 grid next year. Not with us, but he could probably get on the F1 grid next year. But thank you for joining me. If you have enjoyed this, do like, comment, do subscribe, and all of that jazz. I will see you next time. Ciao.